With just days away, what has Howie Roseman done? And the Cowboys signed who? All that and more coming up next.
The following announcement has been paid for by
the ENN Podcast.
He has a good energy, you guys.
Can you feel
Sports.
the excitement? And also,
the merchandise, wearing the hats.
Is what I'm seeing for real?
Chris Wild here live from Lincoln Financial.
Yeah! I can't wait till this video's over so I can say his name anymore.
Music.
Wow.
Again, and I hate to do this again, but these are deep.
What the hell? What is that? Whoa! What the hell?
And more.
What's his next book gonna be called?
Got you, cocksucker!
I did not see that coming.
Back everybody to another episode of the ENN Podcast. I'm professional wrestler Chris Wild, and we are just days away from the debut of the NFL 2022 season and the Philadelphia Eagles' first game. And look, I love summertime. It's my favorite season. I love beach and bikinis, but we're getting ready to deal with some balls, baby. You know what? Sometimes you say things in your mind, they sound better in your head than they do out there. You know what I'm saying. It's football time. It's football season. And man, the fall time, the hoodie time, I love everything about it. And the Eagles, boy, do they have a squad this year. And let's talk about what Howie Roseman has done. Now, we call this the off-season, but for Howie Roseman, it's been the on-season. That's right, he has hit all the right buttons, and it didn't look like it was going to be that way. If you remember the beginning of free agency, I was one of the fans that was like, what is Howie doing? I mean, we signed Hassan Reddick, and then that was it for a little while. But man, he really, really turned it up around the draft time. Drafting Jordan Davis, who's an absolute monster in the making, getting a steal in Kobe Dean in the third round, and trading for A.J. Brown. The Philadelphia Eagles finally have a true number one wide receiver, and that's not taking anything away from who they got last year in Devontae Smith. We get year two of Devontae Smith, former Heisman Trophy winner. This offense looks completely different than it did. Even signing a guy like Zach Pascal, who's going to make a contribution to this team. Getting rid of Jalen Reagor, actually getting more for Jalen Reagor than the Dallas Cowboys got for Amari Cooper, more coming on them later. And then just the other day, I mean, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, one of the best cornerbacks in the NFC, probably in the league, one of the best trash talkers in the league. He fits right here in Philly, and he will be taking over as a starting safety. Now look, he's only played safety a handful of games, but it's a little bit better than Anthony Harris, who was a very slow safety. I mean, that was one of our biggest weaknesses. Kaiser White coming in as a linebacker. Again, with White, Kobe Dean. These guys are going to make solid contributions to this team. Hassan Reddick, I mean, we are overlooking what a big piece that is to that defensive line. There's so much stuff that Jonathan Gannon can do with this defense, and it is going to help the offense. Look, all eyes are on Jalen Hurts, but as I said, Howie Roseman loaded him up with A.J. Brown, with Zach Pascal, year one of Dallas Goedert as a full-time starter. The backfield, Miles Sanders, if he can stay healthy. Year two of Kenny Gainwell. Boston Scott has always made it one or two games the Boston Scott game. And then just the other day, getting Trey Sermon, who they tried to trade for, San Francisco released. I mean, this guy was an absolute beast at Oklahoma, at Ohio State. And he knows Jalen Hurts. Now, will he even make the team? I don't know. But if he can get to that level he was at college just a couple years ago, I mean, San Francisco spent a third-round pick on this guy, gave up on him pretty much after a year. Change of scenery might be good for this dude. Who knows? Again, it's just one of those signings, and it reminds me a lot of, and I hate it when guys on the radio say this or in the media, but this has a 2017-ish feeling, just the signings. A lot of guys that, again, aren't megastars. I mean, you got the Chauncey Gardner-Johnson, who isn't yet a megastar, but is in the makings of. Hassan Reddick, just ready to take that next step into superstardom. A.J. Brown, I mean, Tennessee, he was an awesome player. Here in this kind of market is what can make him the guy when it comes to wide receivers. Now, it all comes down to, like I said, Jalen Hurts, the quarterback, and I'm excited. I'm jumping all over the place in this video. There's no notes. There's no set format to this. This is about pure excitement and about what Howie Roseman has done in this offseason. If Jalen Hurts can just be a tad bit better than he was last year, he doesn't have to be top 5. He doesn't have to be MVP. All he has to do is get the ball to the guys he needs to get it to. Get the ball in Devonta Smith's hands. Get the ball to your best friend, A.J. Brown, Zach Pascal, Quez Watkins. I haven't even talked about him. This guy, again, another guy. Year 3 of Quez Watkins. I really say year 2 because I don't count that COVID year. I mean, this dude's got all the speed in the world, all the confidence in the world. Just needs that one little extra push, and he could definitely get it this year because he's not the number 2 guy. He's not the number 1 guy. Teams are going to be going after A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith, and that is going to help an Eagles run game. We haven't even talked about this offensive line. Holy shit. Excuse my language, earmuffs on. Jason Kelce sits out, gets some stuff removed from his elbow for most of training camp. And you get Cam Jurgens coming in as his eventual replacement, who you get in the second round, who everybody kind of went, a center in the second round. And he fills in brilliantly. I mean, this kid looks like a stud in the making. The depth at center is there. You've got guys like Landon Dickerson, who was dealing with an injury, should be all right, coming back for year 2. He looks like a beast. Jordan Mailata, same thing. I mean, Lane Johnson, this offensive line, there are guys that I haven't even talked about and probably can't fit into this video that are guys that will step up and contribute. Isaac Seumalo coming back. The Eagles have just done everything they can to load up those lines, and that's where it's most important, and the offensive line is going to help a run game. But what I was getting to was the wide receivers being targeted so much is going to make defenses not be able to put 8 men in the box like they did last year. And even with putting 8 men in the box, the Eagles still had the top rushing, and again, guys, if I'm wrong, please let me know in the comments, but I believe they finished the year with the top rushing attack in the NFL. So to add all this together, it's looking like it could be a very, very good year for these Eagles, which makes me nervous because whenever things look really good, right, it always ends up being the absolute opposite for us. We've seen it with these guys here in September. I'm talking about the Phillies. They look like they load up on offense and they make us scream every September why they can't score. And for the Eagles to have this bright a future, it looks like, as far as 2022, gets a lot of us nervous. But look, I'm looking for a change of fortune here. And the Eagles, I believe, not only can they win the NFC East, but I think they could really make a dent in the playoffs. It could happen this year. There's just so much talent around. And again, loaded on depth. But guys, I'm going to bring up something I brought up in the cold open. And it's the Dallas Cowboys. Now, they have been an absolute dumpster fire this offseason, kind of the opposite of the Eagles. They lost guys. They really haven't gotten anybody. But one guy that they did sign was future, probably NFL Hall of Famer, definitely future Eagles Hall of Famer, Jason Peters. And it looks really weird seeing him in Dallas Cowboy gear. It looks fake. It doesn't look right. I know a lot of fans are upset by this. I'm not the least bit upset of Jason Peters taking a contract with the Dallas Cowboys because, listen, Jason Peters was awesome. He's the bodyguard. Those last couple years, he was Mr. False Start. He was always injured. It doesn't bother me that he's a Dallas Cowboy because it's going to be easier on guys like Brandon Graham, who knows all of his traits, like Josh Sweat, Hassan Reddick. I am confident in this Eagles defensive line. And what does it say about the Dallas Cowboys' #1 draft pick that he can't get on the field, that they've got to sign a 40-year-old Jason Peters days away to start for them at left tackle from their home opener against Tampa Bay Buccaneers on Sunday Night Football? It's absolutely mind-boggling to me. I feel like there's a lot more to dig into that subject. We'll get to that later, guys. But look, we're just days away from this season. I'm hyped, as you can tell. I hope you're hyped. Howie Roseman, thank you. Let's hope everything goes as planned. And if it doesn't, guys, I think this team will be okay with the depth that they have. With that being said, Heart Killer t-shirts in the background. I've only got a couple left. If you'd like one, let me know. Hit me with a DM. Hit me in the comments. Cash App Chris Wild Wrestling. That's $ Chris Wild Wrestling. We'll make sure I get that to you. Free shipping, $20 a shirt. Can't beat it. And as always, stay safe, stay healthy, go Birds, and I'll see you later.